And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson. Today we are moving on to our next win totals segment. We're going to be talking about the NFC South. It'll be fun to crap on Sean's Falcons. We're also going to talk a little bit about Brady clarifying his level of involvement with the Las Vegas Raiders, which I find just so funny that he felt he had to clarify this, and it just only creates additional confusion. And then lastly, July 7th is when College Football 26 is supposed to come out. We spent a lot of time last offseason hyping up, getting excited about College Football 25, so it felt very fitting to jump in and talk about the game before it comes out. Before we get to all that, Sean, can you share with our listeners a word from BetOnline?
I'd love to. BetOnline is the world's most beat you to the punch today, RR. Keep on commenting into the chat. Keep it up. Beat you today. You're not getting over
We
on
almost
us.
went early, but Sean took too long.
You gave me a 15-second window to queue everything up.
Yeah.
BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing. Me and Joseph were talking about baseball broadcasters before the show and whether or not you like or would enjoy a country accent when talking about baseball. I will pass.
I don't mind a Southern accent talking about baseball, but a very clearly Southern former MLB player commentating for the Orioles is odd.
It just freaks me
It's
out.
very odd.
For some reason.
Who's Atlanta? I'd be like, yeah, cool, sure.
It always, I kind of like the older voice for baseball. I want an older, slower pace, but not that Southern drawl on it. But that's why when I'm betting on baseball, at times I'll mute it and then I'll cash my fat checks hitting big winners on strikeout props at BetOnline. And then additionally, there's been at least one win total in every win total show that we've done that you could take on BetOnline that'll make you money. It certainly will. We are on the money with it. Largest selection of odds, everything, every sport that you need, tons of crazy ass UFC action. Hope you took some lines there at BetOnline in between games. Head over to the BetOnline Casino with the top Vegas style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean.
Oh, you're so welcome.
We've got betting to talk today because we're going to continue on with our win total segments. We've had a lot of fun with these so far. I'm waiting for another phone call like Sam's for the hack bag into the voicemails where he just told us to call him back. We're not going to call him back. I do want more of those, though. I would like more of those where people tell us their phone numbers, social security numbers, all those things. Would love that stuff. We're doing the NFC South today. Who is going to win the NFC South? Who is going to be the best team in a division that feels like it's been pretty wide open for the past couple of years? Regardless, the Bucs have managed to still dominate with a lot of question marks, a lot of young potential for all of these teams. Bucs are set at 9.5, which feels reasonably accomplishable for them. Where do you stand on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sitting at 9.5?
It's silly to think that the Buccaneers won't make the playoffs in a division where every other team is dying to hand them that crown by the end of the year. The last 4 to 5 game stretch, nobody wants to win the division. Everyone's slopping it up in the mud, and Tampa Bay just emerges with the cleanest shirt to go on to the playoffs. So until I see any type of changes, serious, tangible changes from the other teams, which there's one that has made serious changes and one that's on the rise, but Tampa Bay is the surefire lock for this division, given inconsistency being the number one factor from the other teams. Tampa Bay, I don't think, is the most talented team in this division. They might have
who's the most talented?
I genuinely think Atlanta has the most talent on their team, but that doesn't make them a better team. Tampa Bay is tenfold a better team than Atlanta. That's why they're going to be coasting into the 10-win mark.
I'm cutting you off here. I don't think you can so definitively state that Atlanta is the more talented team. I think Atlanta has improved gradually over the past couple of years. They've gotten better. And they've definitely in a lot better situation considering the fact that they had shit awful quarterbacks. And then now suddenly you've got like a really young, promising, exciting guy in Michael Penix.
Oh, the truth?
Fine. I will agree with the truth. I loved Michael Penix and I loved him as a prospect. And I'm glad that he's getting his shot. And I was in favor of him getting picked where he did. It was a little bit aggressive, but he was worthy of going in the first round. And I think he showed flashes of that in the 3 games that he played this past year. But at the same time, both these teams still have deficiencies and they have serious strengths. You can't say so confidently. You just can't.
I can, because
How?
Drake London is a younger Mike Evans. Darnell Mooney is a younger Chris Godwin. Bijan Robinson, top 3 running back in the league. Chris Lindstrom has been a consensus first-team All-Pro guard. And I would say comparatively for the Buccaneers, if you want to throw that out, put that on Wirfs, and I'll give a clean slate, equal offensive lines between, even though Jake Matthews has gone 14 straight years, not any recognition of being a cornerstone left tackle in the league. Defensively, I'm not going to be ringing the bell saying, hey, watch out for this Atlanta defense. But I will say Tampa doesn't have a better corner than A.J. Terrell, and they don't have a better safety than Jesse Bates. So if I'm going paper research here, who would be the better team talent-wise, Atlanta has that edge. But Tampa has the depth, and they play defense harder, and that's why they win more games.
I would say edge goes a quarterback for Baker, even though Michael Penix might have potential.
I would almost put them even.
No.
I'd almost say they're
after
even.
3 games, dude. You can't say shit like that after 3 games. You just can't. I'm not going to let you. Offensive lines are comparable. Defensive line is significantly stronger for the Bucs compared to the Falcons.
Agreed.
Linebacker unit's a lot better for the Bucs compared to the
Oh, what about
Falcons.
Jalen Walker? We're not ready for Jalen Walker to.
Well, he's not going to be playing linebacker. He's going to be an edge rusher.
No one knows what he's going to be playing. Nobody knows what he's going to be playing.
He is going to be a stand-up nose tackle. I'm telling you right now. That's what I want.
Why would you even put that? Why would you even put that in the universe, dude?
It's my new favorite position that I keep pushing on people. It's like, let's put this guy at stand-up zero tech. Let's just.
Who did the crossover? Was it Rashawn Gary that did the crossover at the guard position, or was it Micah that tried to do the nose tackle crossover rush inside? But I'm an edge rusher.
I want to say it was Micah. Are you talking about the guy who he would line up and he would sit there and do the crossover and then rush? I think it was Micah that was doing that.
I feel like someone did it before Micah, but I'm not gonna solid on it. If I see Jalen Walker doing that, pull him out the game, Raheem. Get him out the game.
Okay, the ceiling for Jalen Walker is him being like. Actually, I'm not. That would have been an insane statement. I had to cut myself off before it even started to come out of my mouth. There is a hope with the play style that he could be almost as impactful as Micah Parsons, because it's hybrid linebacker that eventually becomes a full-time pass rusher. Like, there were some people that were throwing that comparison around. There were some mostly former NFL guys that I listened to on Good Morning Football. I forget who it is, but like I kept like ESPN, former NFL player analysts were trying to make the comparison. Like, oh, he reminds me of Micah Parsons. Not all the way there. You can't get pissed at him if he's doing cool shit before the snap.
Yes, I can.
Like Micah Parsons.
Yes,
would.
I can, because they're not winning games. And I know that's how I'm going to be.
You just don't want Jalen Walker to be good. That's all this is.
Let's save this. Can we? All right. Let's dog ear this for the Atlanta discussion.
Okay.
Pardon me for bringing that in. Tampa Bay, the over, I think, is the most solid play that we have for them.
I think automatically we get 2 free wins with the Saints.
Yep.
And I'm setting the table here for the rest of these teams as we get to them. 2 free wins with the Saints. You're at the very least in the division going to split, possibly sweep the Panthers. So you could already be up to 4 and then split with Atlanta. You're at 5. We need 5 more wins to get to 10. They do have a pretty tough schedule, though, because they're playing the NFC West. They have to go toe-to-toe with the AFC East, which could be a lot more exciting and capable this year, but they could also be complete ass. The Jets and the Patriots could be, total crap on certain parts of the field. So like that's the kind of the question mark of who they have to deal with. They also have to play Detroit, which is going to be really hard. I think I'm going to lean towards the under of them going like 9-7 and still being in the playoff mix.
I'm worried about their under because they just sneak by, and they got hurt last year and they still snuck by. When Atlanta got their second win against Tampa last year, it was when Tampa didn't have a wide receiver. I think they just didn't have that kind of depth. And then once they got healthy late November, they just charged on past, playing par football. They weren't playing exceptional ball. But in the NFC South, all of these choking ass chokers would just love to bend down and say, take it. Take the division. Take it from us. We don't want it. We are all talk. Carolina was all talk, and then they had to figure everything out last year. Saints have been awful, which I love. I can't wait to bash the Saints in a couple minutes. But the Buccaneers have been the only team that has actually taken themselves seriously and acted as an NFL team should. And that's why they will continue to win games. The 9 wins is tasty because you think Baker can't just keep it up. I think he can. I think he's a perennial 9 to 10 win quarterback. He's not going to blow our doors off and have a 14 win year. It's going to be right in the middle, and it's going to be sweaty, but Tampa Bay wins.
I'm really upset because on ESPN.com, I was trying to zoom in on it, and I was going to turn my iPad around and show you, but it disappeared from my screen. In the top right of the schedule that I have up for the Falcons before I was about to transition, I'm taking the under, by the way. I'm sticking with it. I think they go 9-7. I think that they're still...
I don't hate it.
They could still win the division at 9-7, which they've literally done in the past. There is going to come that rocky part of the schedule. They have a really tough stretch, but they're good enough, I think, to get the 9 wins. Still taking the under. There's a lot of battling to get through. There was an ad on the top right that was take a teaspoon of this every single night for a week and see what happens. And the left side of the picture was like this really big, fat Louis C.K. looking guy, clearly AI generated, by the way. And then the right was like this, like insanely jacked, like could not have been more, like we're talking Aaron Donald level of yoked. So the implication that you could go from a fat bald man, I'm sorry that I'm distracted by this. I wanted to show you.
Well, it's just they're playing on the dummies.
It's on ESPN. This is on the front of ESPN that was on the schedule for the Falcons.
I think there's so many. This is how I got to know that, and the listeners should understand. You're listening to a smart program.
No, they're not.
Because
no, they're not.
We would never, but we understand that no matter what happens, Louis C.K. couldn't turn into Aaron Donald. Okay, like we just know that. But there's people that don't know that and think that if
clicking on that and why ESPN's pandering to AI generated.
Dude, I don't.
Shit like that.
Here's the only thing. I've done a good job of, like, I guess, evolving with horse blinders when trying to read articles online where I don't even look to the outsides of the page anymore.
I normally don't, and that one caught my attention.
If your website has an auto mini player and it's impossible to turn it off and it follows you, that will what do you got going? That is the bane of my existence. Because if I'm trying to read, I'm not trying to listen. That can't happen. That doesn't happen with humans.
I want to know if anyone's buying this because they think in a week they're going to look like that.
So an 8-pack and then also incredible lats.
I don't even think it's capably possible to get that jacked in a lifetime unless you take steroids.
Yeah,
we're all chasing that. We're all chasing that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. 1 week, man. I wonder what they're selling.
What do you think? What do you mean? What are they selling? What do you think? It's a fat burner?
What is this?
ESPN Zempic? Is that what you got going here?
I think it is. God, there's a lot of AI generated images in here. It doesn't even say.
That should kind of be the restriction of AI. Like AI should only be able to do, like, for photo generation, stuff like that. You should only be able to make money off of it if you're selling advertisement on the side of sports websites. You shouldn't be able to plague Twitter and plague everywhere else with it. But go back to the traditional leeching on the people that are just trying to read. That is where I would limit it to, because we've already lost the battle. But if we could regulate and put on some guardrails, stick it on the side of ESPN. That's fine.
I have no idea what it's advertising. All right, let's get to the Atlanta Falcons. 7.5 wins is a Sunday show. If you folks can't tell, we get distracted a lot easier on these. 7.5 wins is what the Falcons have. Are you taking over or under 7.5 wins?
While the Falcons are capable of losing every single game on this schedule, and if you wanted to just pick a game, I'll tell you how they'll lose them. they hit the over. This is finally the year where Raheem Morris saves himself, not with good coaching. This is the year where Terry Fontenot saves himself, not with good drafting. Both of them, they got lucky. They got lucky that Michael Penix Jr. ended up being capable.
I hate this take by you.
They got lucky, Joe, because they don't do anything else right. And now with a capable quarterback and a very good wide receiver one in Drake London, who is a possession receiver that can go up against any CB1 in the league, a dynamic running back who has been handcuffed with so many penalties, 495 yards of offensive penalties last year, many taking back touchdowns. If they get right, which I expect them to get a little more right, they can do it. They could win the NFC South. Do I think they will? No, because they're going to let the 49ers embarrass them for no reason on October 19th, where Brock Purdy throws for 3 touchdowns and Ricky Pearsall's coming out party just because Mike Hughes was underprepared. They could lose to the Panthers because they completely overlooked Bryce Young and his development in year 3. They could get run all over and bullied by the Seattle Seahawks, who play a harder brand of defense than Atlanta. But the talent very well could prevail, and I believe it can prevail. If this team can actually average over 21 points a game, this offense can do that, then nothing should stop them from staying in ball games. With the turnover machine in the back end on defense and Jesse Bates as well, giving you an extra possession a game.
I just think that you're putting a lot of stock into Michael Penix after 3 games. I think that that's a little bit problematic of an approach. They're a great 3 football games, and they're 3 games to get super excited about. But anything can happen the minute that he gets back on the field. We thought that CJ Stroud was going to take this huge, gigantic leap forward after having an amazing rookie season and them going all in, the Texans going all in on building around him. And he still played well, but he stagnated a little bit. Growth is not always going to be as explosive as we all think. So there's a chance that Michael Penix could not live up to the expectations that we're hoping for. I think that he will personally, but I think putting that much stock into believing that him alone is enough to carry them to success, especially considering that their pass rush performance getting vastly better. It was one of the worst in the NFL last year. Getting vastly better is hinging off of drafting 2 rookies in the first round. Very rarely do rookie pass rushers go on to be incredibly productive right off the bat in their first season. So I kind of wonder if this is like the second year of James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker working together, that like their defense actually starts to hit stride. I think what a realistic expectation, though, is that their offense ends up being awesome this year, and they just end up losing a bunch of shootouts. I think that that's very plausible. I'm going to take the over because 7.5 is pretty low.
Yeah.
For them to win 8 ball games and to get better. And I think that Raheem Morris needs to do well this year. Terry Fontenot needs to do well this year. Actually, I feel like Fontenot's done enough for himself, and he's drafted well enough that he's bought himself more time than Raheem Morris has.
I think that Terry could throw Raheem under the bus, and the problem that people have,
kind of like Ryan Poles just had with the Bears, where no one thought that Ryan Poles was coming back, but he did just enough good things that he earned his keep.
Raheem Morris feels behind the times, and he doesn't feel like he's got the pulse of what this new age Falcons team is supposed to be. I share your sentiment with the defensive line and the edge rush. There has been none whatsoever. The last big day for Atlanta was Adrian Claiborne's 6-sack game against the Cowboys, where he was beating up on a second-string left tackle when Tyron Smith went out. They don't have that. They need a healthy Troy Anderson. Nate Landman has been great. Caden Ellis stepped up big time. That was a good poach job from New Orleans by Terry. I'll give him credit for that. But the defense has been in shambles. It'll still be in shambles. At best, this team looks like the Bengals last year. At best, if baseline, that's what I have it as. I think what I saw from Michael Penix Jr. when I think maybe it was pressure off and I just am stepping in from Kirk. I'm going to go in here, play my game nice and loose. That's all I need him to do. I don't need hero ball, which he was capable of, though. Him being capable of hero ball against a white-hot Washington Commanders team, albeit they lost, that is what this team has been lacking from a quarterback. Because even Even Taylor Heineke could throw a 10 and out. He could. It wasn't great, but Michael could throw a little faster. And what else do I have, Joe? What else do I have to believe in for this team? Fan hat on right now. All I can do to prep myself and stave the depression off.
I didn't ask for your fan opinion, though.
Fan hat's on now.
I asked over under. What are we going for?
I gave you over. I'm sticking over. Fan hat on.
All right.
I need Michael Penix Jr. The city needs him. And this is all we have to believe in. It's all we have. Because if he doesn't work,
hold on.
If he doesn't work,
I hate when you do the city needs him. You're not from Atlanta. I don't like when you do that. You're not from Atlanta.
Are you from New York?
I grew up 20 minutes away from from Meadowlands.
Are you from New York?
The Giants represent northern New Jersey and New York City. And New York.
The Bills are the only team that plays in New York, pal.
Okay.
Look, I don't know. You could.
That's a crazy to compare those two things.
You could equally be a Jets fan, by the way.
Okay.
Both teams represent the area, so you chose the better one. And congratulations to you. I chose my team, and I'm plugged in with the city of Atlanta and what they need.
When was the last time you were in Atlanta?
It's been a while.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
All right, let's get to the Carolina Panthers.
Mike Smith was coaching.
Carolina Panthers win total 6.5 wins. I'm taking the over for the Panthers because that number is so low. We're talking about them just needing to win 7 ball games this year. I think that as we saw at the end of last season, even though like Bryce Young showed a lot of promise, he still has a lot of work that needs to be done to like really play to that potential that we once thought he could have as this point guard distributor type of a playmaker. He's got better receivers. If Ted McMillan can live up to the hope that we're putting out for him being a top 15 pick, and if Jalen Coker can be a really quality option for them, and if Xavier Legette, I almost blanked on his name, if he can be a dynamic deep threat in that offense, there are opportunities for this team to get better. I think that their defensive line is super underrated. Nick Scourton and Princely Umami-Ellen are a kind of Walmart version of what Atlanta did in this draft, where they took two very talented, physically gifted pass rushers that have upside that can play off of one another's skill set. So there is a chance here that this young team could go out there, win maybe even 9 ball games this season. I'm not going to go that far to say that like this could be a fringe playoff team, but I think that for Canales and for this franchise to start showing signs of getting better, this is a year where they can certainly accomplish that, especially with the bright spots that they showed at the end of last year. This one feels pretty easy to take.
I am rolling with the under here, and that is not a hating ass take either. I'm rooting for Bryce Young. I think that he took some lumps last year that were needed, and he came back better. And that's all you can ask from a quarterback who was struggling on a really bad team, is to come back better. But the Panthers, when you're looking at these games, it's going to be tough for me to pencil them in for 7. Even if they split with Atlanta, which they will, they're going to steal one from them, probably with Atlanta hosting. Realistically, though, the skells that they'd be going against are the Jaguars, the Cardinals, the Jets, and they get 2 wins off the Saints. Everyone else, I just don't think that they're going to magic their way into some big miraculous win. And I will walk back some Chuba Hubbard disrespect. He was more impressive than expected last year, and keeping him shows some maturity from the team, where you're not just going out and trying to find the next B running back on the market like Miles Sanders. What a great addition that was for the Carolina Panthers. Embarrassing. So they're trying to build in-house, which is a good process for them to actually start doing, but it's not the year yet. I thought Legette looked a bit raw last year. He needs to take a big step, genuinely. He needs to become a dominant force on the outside if they want to get 7. That means you stop messing around with Glorilla, please.
No. I would argue that the motion that he's got off the field, for me, means I know that he's going to have a big season this year.
You think that his off-field motion is worthy of another win?
That's how it works. Because he's not doing stupid shit. He's not getting, his off-field motion's not him getting caught up on a boat with drugs in his hand. No, he's getting after it with Glorilla. I think that proves she knows he's got that energy. He's got that positive energy to be a big time playmaker.
I'm intrigued by the Panthers. I really am, because If they really take it, we could be watching like the next real big step for them in a rebuild where they actually find some footing, but they're not a winning football team. They are not going to win as many games, which is going to be a bummer because they do have an exciting quarterback that I hope does well moving forward.
Saints 5.5 is their win total for 2025. Their win total should be 2.
Mm-hmm.
This team sucks. This is the worst team in the NFL. Worse than the Cleveland Browns. I'm tired of seeing it. I just did a mock draft for Pro Football Network this past weekend, and I had to go off of the record prediction draft order that was presented. I know. Well, they're paying me to do them. I'm not going to say no to being offered.
Trust me. I am
money to write a mock draft. Well, I kind of like these because when you do the 2026 mock draft, it's like nobody like really knows. You can kind of just throw a bunch of names as long as like the guys that I've watched that I liked are in the first round. That's all I'm trying to do in the first 50 picks. I try to include all the guys that I like. And then there's always some mouth breather that's like, how dare you not have so-and-so in the first round? And it's like, buddy, you don't know that. You don't. There's nothing to commit to at the current moment. It's the summer. It's June, like you just said.
You draft
everything
freaks.
can change.
You guys crack me up because you can't. You're bugs to the zapper where you can't ignore the mock draft. These people that are obsessed with the NFL draft, they can't ignore it, and they can't just okay, that was a mock draft. They have to comment and get in the mix too.
Also, Ryan commented, Saints are better than the Browns. The Browns suck. That is not true.
No.
You at least have Myles Garrett. You at least have Mason Graham, who they just drafted. They got better damn receivers than the Saints. Who is the Saints' best player? Chris Olave? Is that what we're doing? Just Chris Olave? Alvin Kamara at the end of his career?
Probably Chris Olave.
Yeah. I know we're not talking Chase Young as one of the best players.
They got a 14th season Cam Jordan coming off the edge this year.
Yeah, that's great. That's real great. Carl Granderson?
Who?
Tyrann
Mathieu on the back end?
This team sucks.
Yeah.
Here's the starting corners. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I'm actually kind of excited about. Isaac Yadom. That's how I know your team's bad, because that dude gets passed around left and right. I'm like, oh, crap, we need a new corner. Isaac Yadom's available. He was on the Giants at one point when they were ass. This team sucks. Drafted Danny Stutzman thinking they were going to get something.
Oh, you got to love the Stut. Come on, put some love on the Stut.
Team is going to win 2 football games this year. I don't even need to look at their schedule. What's the redeeming quality? They got a really good head coach. I'm excited about that, but like, this is a multi-year retouch. They're going to be drafted first overall.
Retouch.
There's it needs to get completely retouched, cleaned up.
No. We can't even use a wrecking ball here. We need to actually bring in the detonators and take it all down from floor one. It's a bad team, and I take all joy in saying that it's a bad team.
Take the fan hat off for 1 second.
I will always run down the Saints, and I what am I going to say that you didn't just say about the Saints?
Well,
from an analytical standpoint, I now want to twist the knife. I want to twist the knife.
But you let it in like you were going to allow your emotions to affect your opinion.
Their old, short shit butt quarterback is doing bad betting commercials on TV. There's no legacy there. There's no vibe or aura. Olave has been a very unimpressive wide receiver one who doesn't seem like he's enjoyed a minute in New Orleans. Press conferences with him have been like he was doing them from a morgue. He is not happy there. And there's no reason for him to be, because the quarterbacks that he's had throwing them the ball are nut jobs. And not because Derek Carr is a crazy person, but because when he takes the ball in the backfield, you don't know what's going to happen. He is a wind-up toy rotating around, and then eventually the ball comes out. And if you think Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck or Jake Hayner are going to be any better than that, then you are falsely mistaken. I'm rooting for an 0-17 year. I took no pride in seeing the Detroit Lions go 0-16 and 0-8. Less pride in seeing the Cleveland Browns go 0-16 in 2016. This year, 2025, if we could see the first 0-17 season,
they're not that
17
bad.
losses. You have them as a 2-win over.
Hold on. I was being hyperbolic. They are not Browns Lions bad. They're not.
For the modern NFL, I'd say they are. They have one 1 to 3 pieces that you'd give a B or above grade on their team.
Actually, okay, so here, the reason why I think that they're bad, they have decent players. Like, they have high floor, decent starters. Like, they're okay. My problem with the Saints team is, like, I don't have a redeeming, like, oh, this guy is going to take them over the top. This guy is going to explode and have a huge performance. They don't have that. They don't have any, like, really threatening. Again, outside of Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, they don't have any weapons that scare me.
You know what? There's one game right here that I could say they win, and it's on the circumstance of playing a rookie quarterback in week 17, 1 week before the end of the season, that they could get lucky if he's having a bad year. And that's if they play Cam Ward and his year goes poorly. They play the Titans. That could be their one win. That's it. Because I have no confidence in them beating the Panthers. The Panthers at least have some upwards momentum.
They're not going to go 0-17.
I'm rooting for it. God, I hope they do. I hope all their fans
okay,
cry.
well, they're probably going to beat the Giants.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
The Giants defense is going to wipe the floor with them. Come on. No, they have a lot of beatable opponents for most bad teams in the NFL, but genuinely, who is Tyler Shuck beating on this list?
That's fair.
He's not.
We'll have to see what happens. We got to move on to our next topic here. Tom Brady. It was talked about last week how apparently he was completely out on bringing in Sam Darnold as the team's next quarterback. Now, we raised the question, does he have too much control in decision-making for a minority owner? He is not a controlling decision maker in terms of ownership. He clarified, since these points were brought up last week, well, I'm just a limited partner. So Mark's the boss. And then Pete does his job, and Spy, meaning Spy Tech, does his job. And I think we trust them to make the right decisions. I'm there as a great sounding board for anything they want to do. Again, a lot of quotes coming this offseason about how he weighed in on Geno, he weighed in on Sam Darnold, he weighed in on Ashton Jinty, he weighed in on all of these key personnel decisions, almost to like a Jerry Jones level general manager decision maker, not to the point where he was making the picks, but sounded like he was doing a little bit more than being a sounding board. I think that this is kind of BS to think that we're all too stupid to realize that he has a lot of influence when it comes to making these rosters decisions. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but we can't sit here and pretend. We can't pretend that he does not have his hands all over these things. And he didn't get into the business of owning a team. He didn't get into this without the intention of having some control.
Of course. And also, it's Tom Brady. You would be a fool. There's not going to be a player in the league that has played with more players longer than he has, seen people go out the door. He's played against guys and then played against their kids.
Yeah.
He knows football, I'd say, as well as any other former player possibly could in the NFL. Use him as a sounding board and more. Give him the power. I understand walking it back for legal reasons, but everyone in Vegas should be going, hey, Tom, do you think he'd be a good fit for this team? Do you think that this would work? And they should listen to him. And I hope that they are, because I think that the Raiders could get better if they do have Tom Brady at the top. This is one of these rare situations where you could have a full staff, competent people, and you've been building and they're good, but here comes the ringer. And it's not just a ringer, we're good. This is a Billy Bean and his young ward moneyballing. It's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. You listen to Tom Brady, and you just because you're not going to have anything better to say about football and the NFL and who would work in the game than he would. It doesn't matter how much film you watch. It doesn't matter. Have him involved in everything if you want to win.
I just think that the thing that kind of bothers me about this, like this whole relationship and his post-football going on, the things that he's got going on for him off the field, I kind of wish he would just not do the broadcasting. I think he was fine. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people pointed out he improved. He got better as the season went on, broadcasting for Fox. I don't think he wants to turn that away because they offered him so much money and he's making so much money. So we're already off to a bad start. Fox is paying him a comical amount of broadcaster money, and they handed him the keys to the kingdom to do whatever the hell he wanted.
He's on the A team.
Yeah, he's unjustifiably was thrown on the A team. So he's never going to step away from that. And he's had comments on this recently of like, hey, like I have no intention of leaving. I really enjoyed the season doing it. Like, yeah, no shit. You're getting paid the most a color commentator has ever gotten paid. A stupid amount of money for a guy who's never done it before. I really wish that he would commit to the team building aspect of this. Like, I wish he did have his hands aggressively in the development and the growth of the Raiders, because the Raiders have been an awful team since Mark Davis has been the primary decision maker. They've been awful. They've also been talked about being broke and how Mark Davis doesn't have enough money to like really actually build this thing. Why they moved to Vegas was a piece of that they didn't have the money that they needed from what they were getting in Oakland. I think you have a strong business savvy individual and also a great football mind that focuses his attention 100% on the Raiders. That's what I want. I brought up last week when we talked about his comments about Sam Darnold and how we were bringing up, hey, like, is this bad that he's got his fingers in this? Like, is it bad that he has this much control? It's bad because he's also a commentator and he's also trying to split his attention doing both things.
Yeah.
It feels wrong.
It's it all is going to lead to unfortunately, another Brady scandal, which the NFL loves. It's going to be, oh, well, he officially crossed the line here when talking about something during a game, or if he really gets in the moment and has a real criticism, or even if he has a slip, like we would never do that here. And just top of mind, whatever it is, we're going to get another Brady scandal, and it's going to dominate because for some reason the NFL can't just let this guy be Tom Brady, the most famous NFL player of all time.
Well, I would argue it's the opposite. I think it's Tom Brady can't let himself, like, he's trying to do too much. He's the divorced dad who's trying to show everybody that he's got this big chiseled chin and he's active and important.
Correct. But for this league, I'm not going to say having Tom Brady as involved as possible is a bad thing. Whereas with like the NBA, Michael Jordan is finally going to be commentating this year or giving his thoughts with NBC.
He is going to be awful.
He's
going to be so bad.
Even so, it's going to be good for the NBA to have one of the top two biggest legacy players in the game ever commenting on it. And I think Brady having that position is smart, but with all the mix that he is in, where we're all a hand in everything, it's going to come down to, well, no, we got to have a meeting about this, and Brady's in trial again, and he's smiling and pointing his finger at, well, I guess I'm not broadcasting anymore, or I have to give him my ownership. Yeah. And it's going to be a bummer because you should just let Tom Brady live as he needs to. He should have full autonomy to do whatever he wants with the NFL. I don't care what it is. He's earned it. One of the few. And I hope he gets rewarded for it, but they're obviously going to try to make him a villain again.
He's definitely earned it, but at the same time, I just would like to see him focus his attention on one thing because I think he could be he would be a brilliant, I'm not saying general manager, just a brilliant executive with the intention of growing and developing one of the most most amazing brands. That is what that's what I want out of this.
I completely agree.
I don't want him doing multiple things. Let's move over to talking about the college football 26 video game that is coming out on the 7th. I have pre-ordered it. I paid for the deluxe edition. I also have EA Play. So I'm going to be the minute that fucking thing comes out, I'm playing it. I'm playing it. I'm not going to break a remote this time. I promise. Give me at least a month. We're not breaking the remote.
A month?
Give me a month. I'm not going to break a remote. But I paid for the warranty on the last remote that I bought. So those dickheads at Best Buy know that they're paying for it.
How long did that one last?
4 months.
I got you breaking a remote in the first 2 weeks.
No.
Wait, you're officially over it?
How much are you going to bet me?
What do you mean, how much am I going to bet you? This is not a betting thing because you're just going to say, I'm not going to you just won't break the remote because you would get $100. This would have to be a complete put Joe in a fishbowl. He's unaware of a bet. Like I'll take bets with the listeners if they want to put some action on it.
I don't know.
I can't have you, a direct player in this game, betting on yourself.
They have released a lot of information about the game on expectations and changes for Dynasty mode, for Road to Glory, which is going to be incredibly robust. They've issued all the changes that they're doing to the gameplay, which are small little things. I think that the playing experience is supposed to be a lot more exciting, which is they had a really good foundation last year to build off of, improve the lighting, improve the music, get rid of the fucking drum line that plays over and over again that makes you want to slam your head against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that should be the most intriguing, and I'm a little bit worried, is the changes to Road to Glory, because out there, and did you read through the?
Yeah, I've
okay.
got my own thoughts with the game. Go ahead.
I think that the concept of bringing back high school, where you don't get to play all the way through high school, which sucks, but you get the moments throughout your high school career to get offers, to pick your school, to go play at your school. It sounds great on paper. Last year's Road to Glory was so shit and unentertaining that anything is better than last year's. I think this is going to be a lot more interactive, and it's going to be really cool when you move on to the NFL. Like that is the path that so many gamers wanted but didn't really get because they didn't do a consistent enough job in the initial iteration of the game of doing it correctly. They messed it up originally. This sounds like it is the actual real version that no sports game has been able to give us, is from high school to the NFL. But if they don't fix the damn progression system, and they don't fix the stupid, the whole like, I need to study, and then like, oh, I need to practice, and then there's the wear and tear and all that crap. Like, I think it needs to be better in those aspects, but that is what I'm the most focused on, and I'm probably going to play first.
Well, you're a Road to Glory guy. Like that's
I'm more Dynasty than a Road to Glory.
I'm officially overwhelmed by football video gaming. I am official. It's too.
Really?
It's like a
It's not like Diamond Dynasty that you play 24/7.
Correct. The football, it's gotten too. There's too much going on the screen, and they're trying to make it so much like the real life game where there's audibles, there's quick subs, there's easy subs, so you don't even have to hit the pause menu to rotate a substitution in. All the details of where your players line up, just make the game fun. I don't care about archetypes. It's another word for superpower. And that's, I had the same rant last year.
Why are you hating on this?
Because it should just be players and their ratings playing football, and the gameplay should just be fun. And for some reason, it's enraging because there's cheesers online that just know how to gimmick it, and they got the quick thumbs.
Wait. I think that they're trying to. I think that by being as nuanced as possible, they're kind of eliminating those annoying cheesers.
They eliminate the casual fan by doing that. It's similar to what Call of Duty did after Black Ops, I believe 4. They switched it up in the next Modern Warfare game, where it used to be, I believe you would recall this, you could do long barrel, you could do extended clip, rapid fire, grip. Like, you just built your gun with the attachments that they were. And then they cranked it up, and then there were 12 different grips in Modern Warfare 2. And then there were 10 different stocks and 6 different barrels and 40 different optics. Just give me the gun and let the game go. Like let me just go. I don't need everything to be uber specialized. And that's what these football games are becoming. Whereas I like watching football and knowing everything that's going on. When I'm playing the video game and I want to kind of be a part of it, I'd like it to feel like a video game. Not like this stressful, tense, oh, he's up on the line, so now I have to run a vert, and the nickel corner is is out lined up offside, so now I have to
put it on beginner.
It's not even beginner, because that would still be offered in beginner. All this overwhelming, like, you have to be perfect to actually have a touchdown play. Like Kirk Benkert, he did a ton of EA college football. Like, this is how you break a cover 3. And it's just a lot of buttons, and you have to do a full pre-reads, whereas it should just be drop back, look at your reads, and hit the button, instead of completely going with a play, turning into Mike McDaniel and changing everything up in 15 seconds. I also don't know how much I like about the player damage.
Okay, so that's like the other part of like this specific piece of the game that bugged the crap out of me. The wear and tear was always frustrating. It was really hard to manage. They apparently, this is one of the big details that they've brought up and that I read into, they have allowed for you to get very specialized with your substitutions. which is good. So like pre-game, I can set in dynasty mode. I can set every single time a running back gets under a certain level, I'm subbing a new running back in. So like you're constantly subbing guys in, and you're actually. I couldn't fucking do that. No, I don't know why I keep cursing so much. The game gets it out of me. The last game where I would max out substitutions for running backs because I wanted to bring in a new running back every single time I handed the ball off so that they wouldn't get run down. My dumbass 5-star elite, really talented running back would keep trotting right out there with super red wear and tear, and then he would get blown out of the game. He would get so hurt that he wouldn't be available to play for the next game as well. That was really stupid. I think that they don't know how to effectively do that because it's not how real football works. I think that they juiced it way too much where they thought it's a real physical sport and you need to feel like a real physical sport. One to two, three big hits in a game are not going to completely total you like a car on the highway. It's not.
What was your favorite football video game? Just everything.
NCAA 14.
14?
Yeah.
I think I am at.
That felt like a video game, to your point.
Madden 08, Madden 10, Madden 11 were the absolute pockets for video games. And maybe, I swear to God, it sounds like I'm doing the nostalgia bomb and I hate it because I'm not a kid anymore playing video games and the allure isn't there. But it's just too much. I'm too tense playing this game because I feel like if I want to be great at it, I have to be. The fun thing about MLB, I'm playing on veteran because I just want the cards. I want the players so I can work through more challenges.
I don't even think I'm playing on veteran. What's how high up is veteran?
The second level. It's fine. I could play all-star and I could play higher, but then when I do that, I would
not the second level. It's beginner, amateur,
rookie, veteran. In MLB, it's the second level. It's like medium.
No, it's higher up than that because I think I'm lower than that.
No, I promise you,
it's above minors.
There's a level lower than rookie.
No. There's rookie. There's trust me, I'm deep in it. There's rookie, or no, it's like actually wait. It's below rookie is minors, amateur, and beginner.
Okay, well, I'm playing on veteran. I don't know if okay. If I were to crank it up and start playing at the all-star level or start playing at the not the GOAT, but like the championship level, the hard and extra hard.
Okay.
I could get by and I could win games, but I would just be like tracking the ball, missing the finger, raging.
That's why I broke my remote. I put it on Heisman, and it's like I'm playing well, and then it's like one interception, the game tumbles. It's just
and that's just where I'm at with it. Whereas with my EA Dynasty last year, it was fine. I was playing
set records. You're All-American.
Yeah, I was playing. I wasn't playing on Heisman because
All-American is the right difficulty to do because then you have fun. You just keep winning, and then like maybe you'll lose a game that you're not supposed to, and then it's
just having fun for video games with me is great. Whereas a lot of people, it's about being
challenged.
Best. It's about being the best at. Whereas if I walk in,
that's been a problem. That's a problem for me typically.
If I walk into and you want to play EA, then I'm going to. I got to sit up. I can't lean back and play with my friends anymore in this version. And we're just playing deep 4 verts type football, which I think is what football video games should be. Best football video game, NFL Street 2.
I didn't even ask you, are you going to buy this when this comes out? It's $140 for the deluxe edition that comes with Madden. That's what I bought. $143. Maybe I will. I don't have that connection to playing college. Like I played with Middle Tennessee State because that's where the most of my relatives went to school, and that was fine with me. Well, what you got to do with the most entertaining thing to do is you start as an offensive coordinator. You randomize what school you start at. You're just an offensive coordinator at like a crap school. And then you work your way up, and then you just keep going wherever you get job offers. I don't like starting with a specific school in mind. Sometimes
I like building that dynasty. I like having MTSU back-to-back natty champs.
Yeah, but you do that like when you get your first head coaching job, you would pick, and you can just stick wherever you end up getting.
Why would I leave though?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you're an OC, say you're an OC at Bowling Green, and then you light up the scoreboard every single game, and you go to the playoff, and then you get offered a job to coach Middle Tennessee or like Boise State or something cool like that. And then You just stay there.
But I'm a person, I like the most addictive part about the football video games in the modern era is the player progression from year to year.
That is true, yeah.
And I want to, if I'm going to put in so much time with my first
They've
running back.
improved that, by the way. They spent a lot. They improved the dev traits too, which is great.
That's awesome. But that's the best, where it's like, okay, I had a 4-star recruit, 80 wide receiver, 6'5", 98 speed. Catch isn't great. But then the next year, he goes up to like an 86. Junior year, he's a 90. That reward system, that dopamine release when you get to use that guy is perfect. So leaving the school and not getting to use that guy, it completely defeats the purpose for me.
True.
Because what else am I racking up 55 points a game for? If I'm just going to dip.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I just think that with the college football, it's just different. Even though it'll hook me, and I got fucking hooked last year, where it was just zone out, grind, having the time of my life.
Oh, I mean, I'll fully admit now that I don't work at Yahoo anymore. There were days when I was supposed to be doing work and I would just sit there and play the game.
I gotcha. It's
as soon as it came out, I was doing that.
I'm not trying to be someone that's not excited for the game. It's just maybe I've aged myself out of really being able to enjoy it at the max level. Whereas it felt like in the early 2010s, you could still have a really good time and not feel like you're sitting in a meeting.
That's a fair point. All right, let's get to Hack of the Week. I have something I want to bring up for Hack of the Week. I don't know if you were tracking the NHL draft at all. It was happening on Friday. Were you tracking it at all?
You know what? I must have missed it. I think I had something else that was going on.
I don't. Nobody was paying attention to the NHL draft. I wasn't watching it. I couldn't have cared. But Awful Announcing kept sharing clips. They played so perfectly into the just the premise of that site, Awful Announcing, by resharing these clips. They, at the NHL draft, had this awful, stupid premise where after a kid would get drafted, he would walk into this enclosed area where there'd be a big screen up against the wall. The sideline reporter, one of the female reporters, would take the player in there.
The correspondent?
No, she was like more of a reporter, less than a correspondent. It was just like somebody who was like down. I don't know if you tripped me up by correcting me with that word. I don't know if that's the right word or not. She would take him into the room. On the board would be executives for the team that they just got picked by. She would then prompt some sort of a question or like, oh, like how exciting is this that you just got picked? The player could barely hear the executives on the screen. Only the woman with the microphone could hear what they were saying.
Ooh.
And there was an god-awful delay and echo that was being created by doing it. And they kept going back. After the first 4 or 5 fuck-ups with this thing, they kept walking over there and going back. I'm surprised you didn't see this.
I missed it.
It was so awkward.
That can't happen with a major sports draft, and it's the NHL draft, and whatever, right? It's a nothing burger right now. But you got to have the backup plan. What's going on with the guys in the truck?
Cancel it.
Where's the pivot? Hey, get out of the room. Ask them the question, and we'll get through it. We don't. They tried to get too deep. They tried doing too much. It seems like
it was called like the Draft House or something like that.
I think
it was the Bruins when the kid got drafted. He walked in there. The executives didn't even know that they were on. They were just sitting there deadpan. So there was like a good 10 seconds of silence waiting for a response from them, and they just didn't even look up.
I'm still trying to process how I feel about the NFL draft and the players that they have to go to the mirror and put the hat on. And
I don't mind that. I think that's kind of creative.
I just feel like it's 10 minutes a pick, but then there's 5 minutes of nonsense before the clock starts again.
It's better than this shit.
And yeah, I gotcha. That is rough. You do not want to be in that truck and there's an echo, a delay, and the person you're trying to talk to can't hear the people. It's just do the phone call. People like the phone call reactions. And then additionally, this past year we saw, which I think was actually innovative, even if I think it's a bit
looked like, by the way.
Why? Oh, that's some Hunger Games bullshit where you're talking to the council. That's awful. The NFL draft actually they had cameras on the call and the person receiving the call, so you could see both ends. Whereas historically, you just see the player on the phone. Thank you, coach. Tears, and then hang up, celebrate. Now you're getting the full production piece. Who is the Benjamin Morrison, I think, from Notre Dame this year, had a big one where he was getting the call, and it was well done. It was innovative. It's too much, but at least they did it right. If you're going to do too much, you have to do it right. Not 4 guys. These guys are supposed to be in the war room, and you're making them stand up and do a TV segment with their new player that they just drafted. Do a phone call. Do a phone call. Call the guy.
It came off as like a very manufactured way of creating like a moment, like a natural, spontaneous moment. It just didn't work. And credit to Awful Announcing, they kept sharing clips. They kept going like, this still isn't working, and they're still trying to do it. That was god awful. Please be a little bit smarter about what we're doing.
You can't manufacture the big pop. You can't. You attack McKinley bringing his grandma's portrait on the stage, no matter what his NFL career turned out to be. You can't manufacture that. That's just a football guy that is overwhelmed by emotion and says, "This is what I'm doing." He had it with him, but if you let the decision makers get a hold of that, then it would have been a whole tribute, and now it would have been an AI voice of the grandma, and it would have been really insidious. Just let these guys be themselves, and then it'll all work out. Because we're not without characters or without athletes that want to express themselves. Thank God. But everyone is just putting their hands in the pot, and everyone needs to be able to control the idea of how to make this guy pop. So let him pop or let him don't pop. It's fine. Matthew Golden at the draft this past year, look at what he did. He said, we're going to go crazy. I'm going to speak to the fans. It's going to be great. But they weren't doing a Q&A. Let me walk through everybody with a bunch of cameras and everyone wiling out. It was just a good moment. Let the good moments be good moments. All this overly manufactured draft crap is just crap.
Do we have any hackback questions that are worth getting to?
I mean, not necessarily. Chester's is really.
I saw it. Is that the only one that we have?
I wouldn't mind talking about Love Island. I'm not going to reference.
I don't know anything about Love Island. Do you know anything about Love Island?
I think that the Love Island reality TV show, love TV show, relationship TV show. It's manufactured drama, and I think they're kings of it right now. It's the biggest show. I am getting frustrated that there's Love Island watch parties dominating bars, whereas you and I.
That is very lame.
We sat at a watch party for House Hunters or in Rhode Island. Do you remember that watch party?
Oh, no. It was some HGTV show where when we were there for Homecoming, we went to Applebee's, and then after we gorged ourselves on seeing how many boneless tenders we could eat, we walked over to one of the dumbest, awfulest breweries I've ever seen. We ordered a drink, and they were doing a watch party for somebody that appeared in an HGTV show, and the vibe there was awkward and weird.
I just think that I have no issue with a bunch of gals getting around, having some wine, watching some bad reality TV. That's their Sunday football.
Do that at home.
I do it at home. That's nice. You know why? Because I consume my football at home. I'm in my room sequestered. You are with young Zumo sequestered or in your room sequestered. Yeah. We're not going out making it all about football. Like, I need to watch football. No, real football fans stick in their house and they're miserable all day.
It's also, the other thing too with that is if a football game's on and they turn even if they go as far as turn the music off and they're playing the commentary from the game, most people walking into a bar automatically know, there's probably going to be a game on. And most people that go to bars go with the premise of like, oh, cool, I'll just watch this.
Yeah.
They have an intention to watch sports, and they're not uncomfortable with watching sports if it's on and everyone's attention and the crowd of people there are really focused on it and emotional about it. If I go to a bar and I'm going there and have a drink, and it's a bar that I like going to, or it's one of the few bars that isn't like super packed that you can only walk into at a certain time, it's kind of annoying that Love Island's on that I don't want to watch.
Yeah.
What if you're not caught up too? This is in football where if you missed last week, you know the team's record, you can just kind of move on. I'm not fucking caught up to Love Island. What am I supposed to do?
It's
Ruin your night.
irritating because
Ruin a whole good bar.
a lot of people are enjoying it, and a lot of people are enjoying the show. And I was
Hate
talking
reality TV.
hate
reality TV.
talking to a girl this week.
Was it last night?
No, earlier in the week. And she was like,
Was it the one from last night?
Just watching. You are trying to be.
What did you and the girl? What did you and the girl last night watch?
Watch some. I guess a little bit of the Nats game at the bar, which was fine, and then threw on Mickey 17. Easy, fine movie. Not exceptional. The rewatch was decent. Yeah, don't worry about what I did.
Did you actually watch it?
Hey,
what were her thoughts on the movie?
She didn't like the mole aliens.
She didn't like.
She thought they were gross. I'm like,
and she's hanging out with you?
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there like, oh, these little like cuddly little guys. That are, if you think those are gross and scary, are you like, who are you laying up on right now? God. Yeah, that movie holds up decently, but I don't know if I'll watch it again ever.
Oh, I think done with it.
I think 2 go rounds.
Yeah,
is fine.
I don't even think I want a second go round of that movie.
It was fine. Two
we saw it.
What it maxes out at. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm glad I saw it. I'm decently glad I saw it. Where was I? What are you? You are trying to get your little talons in all of my details.
You didn't give me any. You gave me like a very groggy rundown.
Folks
morning.
were groggy, and it wasn't the bit.
What time did you get back last night? I said to you, "Oh, you're back." Not successful, and you said to me, "I ain't fucking sleeping over."
hey. Yeah, I was a little hot in the apartment. I said, I got to get back.
Oh, did she not have
I
AC?
caught this, a lot of fans. It was, I think I got back at like 2:30, probably. Yeah, but I caught the 1:57 train, the PATH train, the creatures on that train last night. Like full, packed, 2 a.m.
They're all coming back from when you were
back
doing.
to Hoboken. Yeah, I know. You could smell it. It was a funky ass train. I'm not saying I wasn't providing a good amount of funk myself. I also took a big Gatorade from her crib. Put a big 32-ounce Berry Gatorade Zero. It was nice. Brought me back to life. But then additionally, we got a cab line outside the Hoboken Path.
Yeah.
$15 anytime from there. That's the flat rate.
I'm saying that like it's a good deal?
Yeah, because the Ubers last night were $30 to get back out of the train.
Oh, so you didn't walk back?
No, I was chafed to hell because we walked 18 holes golfing, and then I had a nice walk around a park half date. So I've just been walking all day, sweating all day, destroyed thighs, destroyed. So I'm like, I'm not doing
maybe that's a sign you need to be walking more.
Oh, I don't know. My britches were killing me on the course. Once we finished 18, the adrenaline wore off. I'm like, oh. Well, I'm
surprised you made it out. I didn't think you were going to.
I didn't think so. Also,
you got a little motivation. You got a little motivation. God. All right, let's get out of here. 201-834-4308. Call in the hack bag. We need voicemails. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson at Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, Tuesday show this week. No Thursday show.
No Thursday.